Hey everybody, William Brown back again, and still working on my little series of all the benefits we gained from Rand Paul's filibuster, and brings up another good one. The whole world has got to meet Ted Cruz. Now, I guess the alternate title of this video would be The Truth About Ted Cruz, and that's probably what I'm going to run with. Now, for starters, those of you who followed my old channel, before YouTube took it down, you're aware that Mr. Cruz and I, we kind of have a history. I was working for another candidate that was an opponent of his in the primary last year, and I'd got wind that Ron Paul endorsed Ted Cruz, but Ted Cruz wouldn't endorse him back. And this is before I understood how the endorsement game was played, and I was still making a lot out of it, like a lot of people still do. This other candidate, his campaign manager, contacted me, and we were talking, and I told him how I was going to a Republican Liberty Caucus lunch and Ted Cruz was going to be there, and I was going to try to pin him on why he wouldn't endorse Ron Paul. It was a sanctioned hit. I had the green light on that, and I put on the suit and tie and tied my hair back and all that, went straight up incognito. Well, here's just a little highlight of it.
And I'm very happy to answer any and all questions. Yes, sir.
Do you endorse Ron Paul for president?
I am going to let the voters of this country make that decision. Whoever the Republican nominee is, I will enthusiastically support. I will tell you this, I am very proud to have the endorsement of Dr. Ron Paul.
Okay, so Cruz, from there he goes off into this big lawyerly spiel, talking in circles and all that. But afterwards, now this was at a Catfish Parlor in South Austin. To get out of the conference room, you got to walk this little narrow hallway. Well, they had a bunch of suits there, and the media were conducting interviews and all that. Well, this other candidate was going to give me some signs that he had out in his truck. So we got to stand there and we got to wait for Cruz to get done because him and the media are all piled up in this little walkway. We can't get by. Okay, so we stand there, we wait. Finally, the suits and them get all done. People from the press and some of his campaign people, they're all standing there. They're still standing in the way. Finally, this other candidate, he tells me, hey, Billy, we got to hurry, because I got somewhere else to be. So cool, so I just walked up and I said, excuse me, Mr. Cruz, can you get by? And he looked up and his eyes got all big. And I stuck my hand out and said, hey, man, it ain't nothing personal. It's just business. Oh, no. Oh, hold on. Wait. So he turns and he pushes all his security people and staff away, and it's just me and him, and he starts going, for about, he's got me pinned there for about 20 minutes. I let him speak his little piece, and I was just trying to get him, come on, man, endorse Ron Paul, man, just whisper it in my ear, and I'll go tell everybody else. So, he's going on and on. Now, anyway, it's like I said, I guess it's a matter of opinion as to whether I kind of made an ass out of myself at that luncheon or not, but, I'm a Ron Pauler. I'm willing to make an ass of myself on behalf of any candidate that I support. But one thing Cruz told me, and this was my first lesson on how the whole endorsement thing's basically a bunch of crap anyways. He told me, he says, and I'm not going to name the candidate's name, he says, but he didn't endorse Ron Paul until right before the primaries when he saw his numbers were so low. I mean, he only did that because he's grasping at straws. He's desperate. So I was like, after that was all over with, I went back home and I actually, Googled a few articles and stuff, and I'll be damned, man, Cruz was spot on with that. I guess this other candidate basically was trying to, play us. Cruz tipped me off to what he was doing. So anyways, it goes to a runoff. It's Cruz versus Dewhurst, and you can tell by how the results came out that what most Texans think of David Dewhurst. The idea of him being senator was just unthinkable. Now I'm pretty much done with the whole lesser of two evils thing, so I'm not going there. But there are times, for every rule there's an exception. And sometimes, man, it's not so much that you're voting for the other guys that you're not voting for that guy. You got to tell somebody, you know what? No, you can't have the job. Don't care if it's an inflatable fuck doll. Anybody but you. And David Dewhurst he's one of the exceptions. A lot of people felt like Barack Obama was one of those exceptions. I don't. I feel like the difference between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney was kind of minimal. So this was not one of those exceptions. But the difference between Dewhurst and Ted Cruz, there was a big, big difference. Okay, here's something else. At the RLC luncheon that I mentioned a minute ago, he got introduced by his dad, and his dad was talking about how, man, this cat started memorizing the Constitution when he's like 6 years old, dude. So, so Cruz gets up to speak. The economy is the single biggest issue of the day. Well, that and drones. But this time it was the economy. And that's all Cruz is talking about is von Mises and Hayek. Von Mises and Hayek. So that's when I kind of started to see that, and there might be something a little bit different about this guy. I kind of started liking him. Now I put the video up anyways, but because he wasn't my guy yet. But as soon as he beat this other guy in the primary and went to the runoff, well, he was my guy then, because that's the main thing I was keeping in mind, man. Everything this dude believes pertaining to financial matters, he takes from von Mises and Friedrich Hayek. And winner, winner, chicken dinner, in my book. Cruz made a lot of promises on the campaign trail. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And he's barely even been in office, 2 months? A little over 2 months now. And he's done everything he said he would do. There you have it. The boy's looking mighty good. And I'm seeing a lot of that all over the internet. A lot of Ron Paulers. Man, I was wrong about Ted Cruz. Man, that boy's a badass. Yes, he is. I've actually run into him, I guess, about 5 or 6 times in person, and he remembers me. Don't get me wrong. Okay, look, here you go. Here's a picture of me. I tried to sneak up on him, get my picture taken with a Gadsden flag, and he figured somebody was standing behind him. He turned and saw who it was. He threw his arm up around me, and then here's this picture here. Run into him again at Republican Liberty Caucus. He's always late wherever he's got to go, because he signs every autograph, takes every picture, he stands around, he talks to people. He's not too good to talk to you, and I like that. Not that he's like real proletariat type blue collar guy, but in a way he kind of is, man. He comes from a blue collar background. His family's real humble and everything. His dad is just awesome, man. The guy that escaped from Cuba, you probably heard the story about him. So he comes from, good people. Now, okay, so we're at the Republican Party headquarters here in Travis County, and Cruz is late as usual. Me and this other dude, we get tired of waiting on him. So, well, fuck it, let's go downstairs and smoke a cigarette, before he gets here. We get out there, and as soon as we light up, there comes the white SUV, rolls up. God damn it, didn't even get to finish my cigarette. Cruz gets out, he looks up, he sees me. He comes walking up, sticking his hand out. Hey, William, good to see you again. This fucker remembers my first name, too. I thought he just, remembered my face. Well, I found out later on from a couple of his staffers that while his headquarters was, his campaign headquarters, that was downtown here in Austin, that he's a big fan of my YouTube channel, man. Because I went to smashing on David Dewhurst all last summer. They said, every time I had a new video up, they would all get around the computer and be watching it and shit. So that's kind of a trip, to know that a United States senator is watching your little YouTube channel. I hope he subscribes to this one. So anyways, he comes up, he sees me. Hey, William, how you doing? Shakes my hand and all that. So me and my homeboy, we're like, well, we heard it. We put our cigarettes out. They're all going to the elevator, Cruz and all these suits, his staffers and stuff. And they're all piled up in there. Well, my friend, hey, he's even fatter than me, right? So we kind of hang back. Well, I don't think this little elevator is going to handle all of us. Cruz holds the door. No, come on in. We can all squeeze in. So we're all scrunched up in there. I'm all up on Ted Cruz like that. What's up, Ted? Doing all right? Yada, yada, yada. Just, shooting the shit. So on a personal basis, he's all right dude, man. I'll give him his props. Oh, here's another thing, too. Okay, this same meeting at the Travis County Republican Party headquarters that I shared an elevator with him. Okay, my wife's handicapped. So we ride on what's called STS, this little special bus that has a hydraulic lift, so they can lift her up in her wheelchair and stuff. Well, STS, there's no telling how long you gotta wait for them to show up. They give you like a 30-minute window. So after everybody's already gone and it's all over with, and true enough, Cruz, he's late as usual. Everybody's left except him. He's still up there. So me and my old lady, we're standing out front. Well, yeah, she's sitting, and Cruz comes out, and I completely forgot that, the dude was born in Canada, and he's probably not eligible to be president. But I had my camera up, and I said, "Hey, look out, Ted. Can my old lady get a picture taken with the first Hispanic president of the United States?" Man, that fool was smiling ear to ear, man. And I figured he was just going to kind of like walk over and stand next to the wheelchair. So I was starting to turn the camera sideways, Shit, no, man. He got that fancy silk suit on and those, his trademark black cowboy boots. And he just dropped to one knee, put his arm around behind her. He didn't give a shit if his pants got dirty or nothing. This is when he already won the primary. He still had to go face Sadler in the general, but Sadler didn't have a prayer. So the dude, for all intents and purposes, has already won. He doesn't have to schmooze if he doesn't want to, but he did. I gotta say, as far as, because a senator, that's, right underneath the president, probably the most high-profile political office one can hold, or maybe a governor. Man, this dude's just accessible to a fault. He has just no problem rubbing shoulders with the regular folks, and it's not fake. When you meet the dude face to face and you talk to him, like I have, several times, it's not an act. The dude, he is what he is. He doesn't put on airs. He could. Those of you who follow my other channel probably heard, a few comments that I've made in the past that indicate that, no, I'm not a big conspiracy theory guy, okay? I know, unusual for a Ron Pauler, right? And I don't get off into that. I think that Illuminati shit's a bunch of nonsense, and the reptilian shit's even worse. I'm kind of the mind that the things they do that really fuck you, they're doing it right to your face. They don't have to hide to fuck you. Power does what power wants to do, like George Carlin said. So one of the big criticisms of Ted Cruz is that his wife used to be in the CFR. So's Angelina Jolie. Skeet, right? It's not exactly a difficult club to get into. I was talking to this one old boy online one night. He's retired military, and he was in the CFR for almost a year, and he said they asked him to join, and he didn't know why the hell they asked him, because it wasn't like he was really anybody important or nothing, but he felt like it'd look good on his resume. It's the only reason he signed up for it. He was in it for almost a year, then quit it. He said he got tired of all the globalism and shit. It's not that these people are like bad or evil or whatever. They just have, a subjective and stupid worldview. I guess it's not entirely stupid. The results of it are. You got your little handful in there that, they'd love to see a socialist type world government, no borders or nothing. But, I think most people are in there just because it looks good on their resume. That's my opinion. Man, you can disagree with it if you want. Doesn't matter. So Cruz's wife being a member of the CFR, take that with a grain of salt, Now, another big criticism of him. Now, this one's actually, somewhat legitimate in that his wife is a vice president for Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is kind of like your perennial boogeyman. They take a beating from a lot of people, because yes, they do contribute to both sides. And this is not a defense of Goldman Sachs at all. Well, first of all, if you go to opensecrets.org and look at the list of heavy hitters, Goldman Sachs, they're only the 7th largest contributor to presidential campaigns or political campaigns in general. They're number 7. There's companies that give a lot more than them. The thing with Goldman Sachs is that they're really, really good at predicting who's going to win, which gives a lot of people the impression, especially the conspiracy folks, that Goldman Sachs is making them win. In other words, that they're a kingmaker. They're not. They're just good at gambling. They're on Wall Street. That's what Wall Street's all about. The stock market is just like playing blackjack pretty much. You're risking your money. Goldman Sachs is good at picking winners. Now, to say that they bankroll both sides, yes and no, it's not entirely accurate. They gave this last time in 2012, they gave Barack Obama about $100,000, and they gave Mitt Romney about $1.1 million. So to say that they bankroll both sides is like, if I give you $1 and I give this other guy $10, do you feel like I treated you the same as him? So I don't think Goldman Sachs could be looking for any more favors from the Barack Obama administration. The Democrats are not the type to forgive a snub. And that's basically what they did. They snubbed the shit out of Obama. Where this criticism of Cruz's wife working for Goldman Sachs is possibly legitimate is if there's another vote for bailouts, TARP funds, whatever. If Goldman Sachs comes out, with their hat in their hand, looking for a handout from the federal government, how's Cruz going to vote? No one knows because we haven't gotten there yet. But when we do, that's when we all need to be watching him to see what he's going to do. Does Ted Cruz have the balls that it's going to take to tell one of his biggest campaign contributors no when his contributor wants something? Because of the top 10 recipients of Goldman Sachs money, Cruz was number 6. Okay, and he's the only one in the top 10 that wasn't an incumbent. Like I said, his old lady works there. Now, you've noticed that these two main criticisms of Ted Cruz both involve his wife, and not him. So that's, keep that in mind. Where it possibly might involve him is when it comes time to vote for more bailouts. Will he stand up? Or will he fold like a $2 lawn chair? Personally, I think the boy's going to stand up. He seems like he's been kind of on a mission ever since he got to the Senate. I mean, he's been in there barely over 2 months. Boy, look at here. Everybody knows who he is now. And they're impressed. People that didn't like him are admitting they were wrong. Just like a lot of people that they're admitting they were wrong about Rand Paul. This cat, Austin Peterson with Freedom Works. I subscribe to his Facebook page and get a lot of updates and stuff from him. And he said that, the night of the filibuster, he said he couldn't believe all the emails that he was getting, people saying how wrong they were about Rand Paul and apologizing to him. Well, seeing a lot of the same thing with Ted Cruz. People are like, well, I was kind of on the fence about him before. I wasn't really too sure about that guy. But, man, he's looking like a champ. Yes, he is. He is looking like a straight-up diamond. He is shining and sparkling. Love me some Ted Cruz, man. I'll tell you what. I stood on the side of the road several occasions with that sign in my hand. I had my first heart attack holding those two signs right there on the side of the road in the Texas heat. I folded up like a $2 lawn chair. But another criticism I've heard of people talk about, he worked in the Bush administration. So did a whole lot of other Republicans, man. What, every single person that worked for Bush is a fucking neocon? Bush ain't even much of a neocon. He's more paleo than anything. He's surrounded by a bunch of neocons that shape policy. That's a topic for another video, I suppose. He's the same guy that took on the Bush administration in the Medellin case and beat the Bush administration. Basically, when it came down to between George Bush and Texas state sovereignty, he sides up with sovereignty every time. He's argued in front of the Supreme Court for the state of Texas several times, and I believe he's undefeated. I'm not sure. I know he won 3, so I haven't heard of any that he lost. I have to check up on that before I can just state it as a fact. As far as when he was Solicitor General for the state of Texas, man, this his record is just sterling. You couldn't hope for better. Anyways, I'm very proud to have worked with Ted Cruz and helped him beat David Dewhurst. And I am very, very proud of the job he is doing for the state of Texas in the United States Senate and for the whole country, I might add. Because the way he votes, it's going to benefit us all. To all the naysayers and the haters, yeah, keep on hating, man. Ain't nobody can stop you. Keep on listening to Alex Jones and pour your whole political worldview through that filter. Yeah, you'll be so much better than us, sheeple. Anyways, this is William the Sheeple Brown. I thank you for watching. May whatever God you worship bless you abundantly. Goodbye.